KWT slaying.
What if the truth was never lost, only buried? For centuries, historians, scholars, and even colonial records have confirmed what many tried to silence. The original Israelites were a black people scattered across continents but never erased. Their skin was dark, their customs ancient, and their covenant with Yah eternal. This journey uncovers how the Spanish and Portuguese Jews, described as dark-skinned, Semitic, shared one bloodline. Chased by the Inquisition, many fled to Portugal, then beyond, preserving their heritage across borders. But the story doesn't end in Iberia. Across from West Africa, black Jews built synagogues, kept Torah, and passed down the laws of Moses. The Limba in southern Africa, the Igbo in Nigeria, the Beta Israel in Ethiopia, tribes across the continent boldly declared, "We are the children of Israel." These aren't isolated claims. These are voices rising from the dust, connected by oral histories, Torah traditions, and the unbroken rhythm of their identity. No such legacy exists among European Jews. No centuries of tribal witness, no matching traditions, no trace of ancient covenant keeping. Maps, art, and archaeology tell the same story. The Israelites were scattered, enslaved, and displaced, but never lost. The world always knew who they were. Their presence was visible, their customs alive, their story intact. This book doesn't speculate. It confirms the Israelites were black, bound by blood, culture, and covenant to the Most High. This is not just history, it's restoration. The truth was never destroyed, only buried beneath centuries of deception. Get your copy of They Always Knew We Were Israelites today, available now on Amazon.com.
Salam, my family. Salam, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So in these end times, we have good news, we have bad news, we have the good news of prophecy coming to pass. Bad news is that some of us are getting hurt. When we look at the world today, we can see prophecy happening right before our eyes, but many people still can't. It's interesting, like, when you look at even what's happening in Europe and around the world, with the sun burning them folks, right? It's judgment, Revelation 16, as we discussed in the previous show. I'm not saying we're in Revelation 16, probably a precursor, but, none of us has really figured out if, some of the Bible is sequential or not, right? Some things look sequential, some don't. And so as we see these times happen, I'm personally just flabbergasted that most of the world don't get it. Like, for instance, I had this Gentile woman come on my post, YouTube, and she said, well, they're Middle Eastern looking, talking about us, right? The Jews, but she don't think we're the Jews. And I told her, I said, well, you mean like Negroes? I said, we come in many colors. Oh, no, not Negroes. That's a lie. That's a lie. I told her, I said, the days of us placating y'all are over, right? I said, we don't care what you think. Haven't you realized that yet? Y'all see how we responding to the Trump situation? Y'all see how we responding to the Asian situation? We don't care what you think. But I told her, I said, with all the evidence we have of who we are, right? Even some of them folks admitting who we are, you still in the the little Christian mindset. They're Middle Eastern. They're Middle East. What does that even mean, right? They're Middle Eastern. I'm like, do you know? Y'all remember that video I shared of the it was a Norway film of what they call Jerusalem, right? That Middle Eastern location. It had a whole bunch of black folks there, but they're Middle Eastern. I mean, I'm talking about black Africans. You know what I'm saying? Blacker than black. Early 1900s. They're Middle Eastern, but I guess Middle Eastern ain't black, right? But anyway, I digress. So I'm gonna say this, and as I do, and some things I just like to put my input on, right? Whether they right or wrong. And this is just my opinion. Like I say, I'm not a prophet. I'm not claiming anything, just what I feel by watching the signs, right? The Bible says you can tell when the storm is coming by watching the sky. You can see the storm is coming. How come you can't discern? How come y'all can't discern the signs of the times? Now, I'm going to say this, just my opinion. I could be wrong. Personally, from Jacobus' reading of the weather, can we say prophetic weather? We'll be leaving soon. I can't put a time on it. That's just my feeling, right? Just looking at the prophecies. And so we're going to talk about, what's happening, because I don't know if y'all saw the video I did about 3-4 years ago. Talk about painting a target and talking about how they're targeting us, right? And so our people don't realize we're at war. Our people don't realize that they're targeting us, right? And so I'm going to tell you, to me personally, and it's sort of weird because I hear a lot of our family saying the same thing. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. We're tired. We're tired. We're physically tired. We're spiritually tired, right? Just not even just from them attacking us, right? We're tired of all the lies, the deception, the poisoning of our air, the poisoning of our food. We're tired of the people who look like us infiltrating our communities, right? Denying the Messiah, denying the New Testament. We're tired, boss. I know I'm tired. I'm worn out. I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep. But got to keep working. The Most High said, blessed are those when he comes, he find what? Working. So got to do what the Master says. So we're going to go back here, something we always cover, right? And I'm not going to read the whole thing. Revelation 12. My opinion, we're here. We're here. So let's assume the scriptures are sequential. Then Revelation 13 comes, and that's the mark of the beast and stuff. But Revelation 12, we're out of here, right? We're going to the wilderness. But anyway, Revelation 12, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, remember, that's the same imagery that we saw with Joseph, right? When Joseph told his family, hey, I saw the sun and I saw the moon and the stars bowing before me, right? Yeah. So that tells you it's the nation of Israel, right? All of this stuff ties back together. That's why I have a problem. I really don't understand how people deny the New Testament, right? I mean, it lines up with the Old, it lines up with the Apocrypha, it lines up with pseudepigrapha, but hey, you do you, right? Verse 2, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Who's that? Israel. What? In pain. Why? Because she's under attack. She's going through this pain, this suffering, right? And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. Can we say the New World Order beast system? Verse 4. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule the nation, that's Yahusha, with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up to Yahuwah and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness where she had a place prepared of Yahuwah that they should feed her there 1,203 scores days. So apparently what's happening here is that the woman is what? Under attack. By who? The dragon. The global beast empire, the system. Now, I hope y'all know, even recently, I think it's today's news, Trump is also putting, federalized troops in Washington and federalizing their state troopers as well, just like they did in Louisiana. But hey, you're not going to flee though, right? Okay. So, and the woman fled into the wilderness where she had a place prepared of Yahuwah that they should feed her there 1,203 score days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Why? Because he took our identity, right? He took our belief system, made Christianity out of it. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So there is a war going on, but what? In heaven and on earth. And that's what's happening. And it's pretty sad to see that our people, still a lot of them, don't even know who they are. They don't understand why we're dying in the streets. They don't get it. They don't understand that there's a war between Yahuwah and Satan. There's a war between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. Come on, look. Y'all can hate all you want. I'm just telling you, look, this is a truth ministry. I got to do what I got to do, right? Now, before we get started, if something happened to this channel, I'm streaming on Rumble. Y'all could go over to Rumble in case something happened. I don't plan on, being too rough, but hey, you never know. Zechariah 11:5, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be Yahuwah, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Now, isn't that the case, right? Our possessors slay us and what? Hold themselves not guilty. That's what's happening, right? And they sell them, they sold our ancestors and stuff. They still sell us today. I hope y'all know that. But hey, I digress. Blessed be Yahuwah, for I am rich, and their what? Own shepherds pity them not. Your own people don't care. Your own people don't care. The black entertainers don't care. The black pastors don't care. The black business owners don't care. People in your family don't care. They don't want to hear the truth, right? Their own shepherds pity them not. What a miserable group of people we are. Our own people don't care that we're being deleted. Nobody cares because it ain't hit my house. It ain't hit my house yet. We got to wake up. Look, I'm going to tell y'all one thing I do like that I'm seeing. I like the fact that a lot of our people ain't playing that Christian turn the other cheek crap. A lot of our people starting to handle business. I respect that. You're supposed to protect yourself. You're supposed to protect your family, even if they put you in jail. I'm just saying. I can say one thing. Camelo is still alive. I can say that. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in prison. But, if they had beat him down and they had deleted Camelo, guess what? Camelo be dead. Right? I'm just saying. It is what it is. Israel has awakened. We different. We ain't the same no more. Don't get it twisted. Psalm 44:22. Yea, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. This is happening. This has always happened. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. You Gentiles out there, y'all say we not the people, but we fulfill every single prophecy of the people. Make that make sense, family. Make that make sense. We're not the people. We're Middle Eastern. But we fulfill all of the prophecies. Why? Because we are killed all the day long. Literally. Always was. Happening definitely today. Why? Because we are in Revelation 12, in my opinion. Right? We'll see what happens. Jeremiah 31:11, for Yahuwah had redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. We are captured by people who are stronger than us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be held captive, right? They're stronger than us. They're more evil than us, right? We got our problems, but they have more problems, right? I'm going to tell y'all need to do this. Y'all need to tell y'all families, step back from them folks. I'm just saying, y'all can call me racist all you want. If you dumb enough not to look at the news, look at the history, and weigh the situation, you keep doing what you're doing. You're going to get the same results. You're going to get the same results all of these other Hebrews getting. Psalm 35:10, all my bones shall say, Yahuwah, who is like unto thee, which deliverest the poor from him that is too strong for him. Yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him. Who's getting spoiled? Who needs deliverance? Look, one thing I agree with the camps on is that Israel needs deliverance. Now, one thing they ignore is the fact that we also need deliverance from sin. They ignore that whole thing. Well, they don't need deliverance. They don't need to be delivered from anybody strong. I'm just saying, everybody needs deliverance from sin. But everybody does not need deliverance from captivity, because everybody ain't held captive, except the Negro still held captive. But hey, let's continue. John 16:2-3, they shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he does God a service. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. Is that not Christianity? I'm not saying everybody in Christianity. Some of them know the Most High. But for the most part, they don't know the Most High. Why? They hung us from trees way back in the day. Came out of church on Sunday, had a little hanging time. Same thing today. They're hanging us from trees and they calling it suicide, right? They leave us on islands and take our phones, and guess what? What do they call it? I don't know. Something happened to them. We got his cell phone, but I don't know what happened. Ecclesiasticus 12:10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Never trust your enemy. Tell your children, stop hanging with them folks. I know y'all don't want to hear this. Tell your family, stop hanging with the folks. My family ain't going to listen to me. I know your family not going to listen to you. But they don't know no better. But guess what? You still suffer the consequences of not knowing any better. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Look, I'm going to tell y'all, the stuff I'm going to talk about today, look, I couldn't even cover everything that's been happening. Look, I'm telling y'all, I couldn't cover everything that's been happening. It's too much information. I'm telling y'all right now, this is a warning to the Israelite community, whether you call yourself African American, Foundational Black American, ADOS, whatever you call black folks, y'all need to step from them folks. I'm telling y'all, something's wrong in the spirit. They are deleting us and you're not hearing about it. Look, the ones that you hear about, multiply that by 10. The ones that you're hearing about, multiply by 10. They're not reporting everything publicly. We're going to go to some recent stuff, and we're going to talk about some of the recent stuff, right? And then we're going to look at some just all over the board. South Carolina jury finds store owner not guilty of murder in killing a black teen. A South Carolina jury on Monday found a store owner not guilty of murder in the 2023 shooting of a black 14-year-old kid, right? Y'all know this story. The jury returned a verdict for Chicky Rick Child 61, who is Asian. shot Cyrus Cormac Belton in the back. After chasing him from his convenience store in Columbia, he maintained he acted to defend his son. But he shot him in the back, but he defended his son. The killing sent waves of anguish and grief through the African American community in Richland County, where nearly half the population is black. After the verdict was read, sobs and cries of distress could be heard coming from Cormac Belton's family seated in the gallery. Childs sat silently, frozen before slowly bowing his head unto his interlocked hand. Defense lawyer Jack Swerling said they're very pleased with the verdict, but also feel that the Belton family feel for the Belton family. My heart goes out to them, but 14-year-old kids should not be roaming the streets of Columbia, South Carolina with semi-automatic pistol loaded and ready to fire. He didn't pull a gun out, though. He might have had it on him. You know, the other thing is, I'm going to be honest with you. How do we know that they didn't place that gun on him? I'm just saying, I don't know. How do we know they didn't place that gun on him? But anyway, Todd Rutherford, but look, he was shot in the back regardless, right? Todd Rutherford, an attorney and representative in the South Carolina legislature, stood next to Cormac Belton's father as he told reporters that they don't agree with the verdict. This makes us feel as if our children don't matter, and they do, he said. This makes us feel like Cyrus' life didn't matter, and it did. Once again, your life don't matter in this system, period, right? That's just the way it is. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Crazy mob of angry black folks down on the coast would just love to find them at a gas station or anywhere else.
See, you got to be careful when the abuser starts to play the victim. Look at the language that he's using.
Imagine being an 18-year-old, 19-year-old accused of something like this. They're having to deal with the loss of their friend, and they're being found guilty in a court of public opinion and not able to leave the house. You got a crazy mob of angry black folks down on the coast would just love to find them at a gas station or anywhere else. These folks are fearing for their lives right now, and all they're guilty of right now is having a black friend. People, and I go back to what I said at the very top of this show. Situations like this are going to lead to parents having a tough, white parents having a tough conversation with their kids about who they hang out with for a whole different set of reasons than they should. You know,
I make it unsafe for you, and in return, you have a natural response, and then I play victim. That's a textbook strategy.
So they got to have a conversation with their kids. No, we need to have a conversation with our kids. Who's deleting who? How many stories are we seeing of them deleting us versus us deleting them? Come on. Let's be honest. Something wrong. For absolutely no reason, self-defense claim of Texas man who allegedly shot 17-year-old friend 11 times in the back, once again in the back, during a sleepover, rejected as he's sentenced to 40 years in prison. A friend, a sleepover. Keep playing. I'm going to tell you, when I was back in Christianity, I made that mistake. I ain't know no better. Y'all better wake up. Corey Thompson Jr. had a smile that would light up the darkest room and dreams of attending college to pursue an engineering degree. But all that was shattered in the early morning hours of March 20th, 2021. A few weeks before his 18th birthday, Thompson was spending the night at the home of a close friend, James Sotelo, a troubled high school dropout who inexplicably opened fire on Thompson as he was trying to go to bed around 3 a.m. Sotelo fatally shot Thompson 11 times in the back of his head and neck. Stray bullets from the 9mm semi-automatic handgun pierced the bedroom wall and hit Sotelo's brother in the face as he was sleeping in the next room. But we're the violent folks. We the problem. I'm just saying, they keep killing our children. What you gonna do about it? Y'all gonna keep doing the same thing? Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his what? Wickedness. Come on. How many times? Over and over and over. We keep seeing the same thing, but they try to keep it out of the main media. He'll do it again. Atlanta cop who killed Rayshard Brooks after he fell asleep in Wendy's drive-thru smiles in mugshot after arrest for choking and assaulting black employee in bar. The Atlanta police officer who fatally shot an unarmed black man in 2020 was recently jailed on assault charges connected to a bar fight in Midtown Atlanta. Garrett Rolfe was booked into a Fulton County jail on July 30th on a simple assault charge after he allegedly fought a staff member at X Midtown and Piedmont Avenue last month. According to WXIA, citing information from a warrant, the fight happened 1:20 a.m., June 29th. Two Atlanta officers were called to the scene and were met outside by Rolfe, who had a bloody nose. The 32-year-old who was off duty told police that he was at the bar with a friend when his friend took a picture of the bartender because he believed he was overcharged for his drink. The bartender's girlfriend approached Rolfe and his friend demanding that the photo be deleted. According to the bar owner, Rolfe and his friend only escalated the altercation, and another bar employee became involved after he was called inside the establishment from his post on the patio. Rolfe told officers that the employee started pulling and pushing his friend out of the bar, Rolfe said. He approached a staff member and asked what was going on, but the employee grabbed the collar of his shirt and started pulling and stretching. Rolfe said when he tried to escape the staffer's grip, the employee threw him against the wall and began strangling him to the extent of which he could not breathe. Then Rolfe said he started punching him. Rolfe told cops he hit him back in self-defense, delivering blows and strikes to his body and face. However, the employee told a different story, saying it was Rolfe who attacked first. He stated that when he tried to escort him and his friend out of the bar, Rolfe began punching him. That's when he fought back and to defend himself. Despite both men claiming self-defense, police arrested the bar staffer, 52-year-old Raphael Penris, on battery and simple assault. Rolfe was let off without charges, but he was placed on administrative leave while police investigated the incident. The case drew some blowback from bar staff members who asserted that Rolfe and his friends were the aggressors and questioned the police department's decision to arrest their colleague. After weeks of investigation, authorities recently announced that Rolfe was arrested and charged. Rolfe grinned in his mugshot, drawing some backlash, and claimed that he lacked remorse. His mugshot says he'll do it all again. Lock his stuff up. One Instagram user wrote, "They don't even care anymore," smiling in the mugshot. Another person wrote, Ex-Midtown owner Nelson released a statement saying he believes Rolfe's arrest is the correct decision and a step in the right direction. For us and our community, we would like to see the charges dropped against my employee. We do not believe Officer Rolfe should be policing our streets. If the police department's findings merit criminal charges, we hope he will be prosecuted. Our city stands for so much more than this. We stand for justice, peace, and equality, and we can do better. I hope the police department and city leadership will continue doing the right thing. 4 years ago, Rolfe was arrested and charged with the murder of Rayshard Brooks, who fell asleep in his car at a Wendy's drive-thru in the southwest Atlanta and was fatally shot during an encounter with Rolfe and his partner after both cops tried to arrest him for driving under the influence. So he is asleep in the Wendy's parking lot, but we the violent one. Mississippi cops shot and killed a black baby, claiming they feared for their lives, but an independent autopsy is blowing their story apart. The legal team for the family of a 1-year-old boy who was killed by police is raising new questions in the case. Attorneys Ben Crump and Van Turner shared preliminary findings from an independent autopsy during a news conference on Wednesday. "We're here fighting for transparency," Crump said. "We don't need you to narrate it for us. Black people have eyes. You have eyes. You saw the video." The autopsy was requested by the family of Cohen Wiley. He was shot by an officer in the Walmart parking lot in Senatoba, 40 miles south of Memphis. According to Crump, the autopsy showed the bullet that hit the child came through the car's side, not the front. "The police officer is shooting from the side," Crump said. "You can't get that shot from the front. Why would you shoot into a vehicle from the side where you're clearly not in harm's way?" Few details have been released in the 2 weeks since the fatal shooting on June 14th. Atlanta Black Star previously reported police were responding to a shoplifting call at a Walmart when a police officer fired at a car the child was in. According to state investigators, officers at Walmart saw 2 subjects and a juvenile child fleeing from the store in a vehicle. Cohen's mother was a passenger in the car her friend was driving. I raised my baby up trying to show the officers he was in the car, the mother said. Video footage from local media shows the car with a shattered passenger side window and a bullet hole toward the left side of the windshield, suggesting the cop fired from the side of the car. We're trying to put together the puzzle so we can get to what really happened, Crump said. We shouldn't have to do this to get the simple truth about what happened. The attorney called out investigators and Walmart for failing to release video of the incident. Whose possessors slayed him, you know they're getting off and hold themselves not guilty. Killing a little baby. But they did that in the past. They're doing it today. Nothing has ever changed. You know it when you see it. White attorney for Asian man who shot black teen after false shoplifting accusation says race wasn't a factor and claims he's qualified to make the call. So we just talked about that. Shot this kid in the back. Florida man hunted down a black FedEx driver, shot him 7 times and waited 20 minutes to call 911, then tried to claim stand your ground. Authorities say a road rage incident took a deadly turn after a Florida driver followed a FedEx driver to a distribution center and murdered him in front of his girlfriend. Now, 24-year-old Tyler Brandon Vidro faces first-degree murder and aggravated stalking in connection with the death of Nathaniel Paget in Rivera Beach, April 16. Look, I'm going to tell y'all, white supremacists have a target on us. Y'all don't understand. Y'all say we're not going to flee? I was listening to this one black guy. He was like, yeah, we need to come together and we need to form our own communities and separate from the... What, in America? You going to form your own community like they going to leave you alone? Like they still not going to get you on the streets, pass laws to get at you and your family? You're still going to be ruled by the plantation police. Hold on. All right, so I'm not a racist. Ohio Florida scrambles to delete his page after viral slur-filled attack on black Uber driver. But the screenshots were already everywhere. An Ohio flower shop owner has deleted his social media pages after a video of him hurling insults and using racial slurs toward a Uber driver went viral. The video posted by the driver's son, Antonio Moss, shows the fiery exchange. In the video, you hear the driver, Kimberly Moss, trying to get a signature from Ray Valentine, the owner of Valentine Floral. It appears Valentine gets upset when Moss tries to return the flowers and starts telling her to get out and go to, calling her names. I'm telling you, get out of my store. I hate chimps. Racist Houston cop joins the unemployment line after proudly hurling the N-word 16 times in the viral video. Valentine then follows Moss out the store as she tells him she's going to call the police. That's why you deliver, you Uber. You know what? Valentine yelled at Moss, get out. Don't come in here and talk to me like that. During the exchange, Moss remained calm until Valentine began yelling slurs and misogynistic insults at her. Moss' son said the video left him stunned. Once again, they keep doing it, but we the trouble. We the problems. It's them. Them folks. Always was, always has been, always will be. Will blow your head off. White brothers charged with hate crimes after alleged attack against black men fishing. Shots start firing and it turns when one of them gets shot. 2 brothers are facing attempted murder and hate crime charges after an Illinois alderman and 2 of his friends say they were attacked. Brothers Jesse and Jordan Coleman appeared in court to answer to the charges related to the alleged attack earlier this month. Danville alderman Jaleel Jones Tajon King, and Dwayne Williams, told WCIA they were fishing on April 3rd at White Oaks Park in Edgar County when the brothers and their friend Jaden Reynolds pulled up in a white pickup truck. "What you boys doing here? What you boys doing down here by yourself here?" The victims claimed the men were drinking alcohol earlier that night. Prosecutors say the situation escalated quickly after the men got out of the truck and began harassing the victims, allegedly using racial slurs. The victims told investigators they tried to de-escalate and were trying to get away. Police said eventually Jordan Coleman pulled a shotgun out of the truck and fired a shot into the air. The state's attorney office also said Reynolds bought the gun earlier that evening. The state's attorney office said the victims were told, "We will blow your heads off." Investigators told Fox Illinois Jesse Coleman also helped escalate the situation by continuing to move toward the victims and participating in the confrontation. Prosecutors say at that point, Tajon King, who was legally carrying a 9mm handgun, fired in self-defense after fearing for his life. He struck Jordan Coleman multiple times in the abdomen and hip area. The victims then ran from the area and called 911, reporting they were being shot at and giving their location. According to court documents, evidence recovered at the scene included shotgun shells, 9mm casings, along with damage consistent with a shootout. Investigators say the shotgun shells matched ammunition purchased earlier that evening. Officers were able to catch the Coleman brothers later that night. Jordan Coleman was taken to the hospital for treatment after suffering gunshot wounds. Now, my question to you, family, is this. You think all of this coincidence? Give me a 1 if you think this is a coincidence. Give me a 2 if you don't. Because there is a uptick in these incidences against us. Personally, I think there's some kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just spiritual. It could just be spiritual. Or there's a hidden hit that's going on, right? With white supremacists. There is a undisclosed contract on taking us out. Something's wrong. It could be spiritual. It could be all of the above. Had his back to the officer. Atlanta cop shot man 17 times as he urinated into the bushes. Family says body cam video proves it was execution, but investigators refused to release the video to the public. Linton Blackwell appeared to be urinating in the bushes outside last year when an Atlanta police officer with a history of disciplinary action against him shot him 17 times in the back, according to a family member who was allowed to watch the body camera video. He was doing his stuff in the bushes, the family member said. In an exclusive interview, the Black Star and the officer moved in and grabbed him by the collar. Now look, this Blackwell. So now we got our own people killing our own people. Why? To uphold what? White supremacy, right? Whose shepherds slay them. And they don't care, right? For thy sake, we're killed all the day long. That's what the scripture says. Once we have to deal with this with them, who are possessors, who slay us. We got to deal with our own shepherds who don't pity us, our own people who are involved in it. Once again, it adds to the fact that this is spiritual because it's the system, but it's also, I think this is just how I see things. There's spiritual counterparts to a physical reality, which what I mean is, I do believe that the white supremacists have some kind of hit on black folks. But then we got the raccoons like this dude, right, who are doing the job as well against our own people. In Atlanta. They will pay for killing my son. Black woman says she dialed 911 to save her 3-year-old. Minutes later, Las Vegas police shot the child and his father dead. Renika Pate, a 28-year-old black woman, called police last month to report that her boyfriend was threatening to kill her. the 3-year-old son himself. Las Vegas police showed up and killed both the father and son, according to Pate, who is now preparing to file a wrongful death lawsuit. Police say they killed the father, Quentin Baker, but blamed the father for killing his son, Kenthry Baker. They have shown select portions of body camera footage to reporters during a press conference, but it does not provide a clear view of the toddler who was killed. Police say both the father and officers fired simultaneously, but the video shows a muzzle flash for an officer's gun and no clearly visible muzzle flash from the gun the father was allegedly holding. But police say the boy was struck 3 times, including twice at close range, 1 bullet to the head. They also say the 3rd shot to the boy's legs is undetermined as to where it came from. Now, my question is this, right? How come every time they're confronted, right, with guns or whatever else, they make it out alive, but we never make it out alive? How come not only the father ends up dead, but the child ends up dead? Jealous rage, Texas man convinced himself his black wife was cheating, shot her 15 times with their child inside the home. Now he learns his fate. Now, this is just one of a few of these, right? There's a whole bunch of these. I told y'all stop marrying them folks. I told y'all. This is one of the few of these, right, where this happens. I mean, this happens often, but you don't hear a lot about it. A split-second decision fueled by jealousy has now sealed a Texas man's future and permanently altered the lives of everyone inside that home at night. Brandon Dickerson, 30, pleaded guilty to murdering his 23-year-old wife, Alexis Walls, after convincing himself that she had been unfaithful. Shall I bring up all of the other stories of the women stabbing black men, or the women shooting, white women, mind you, shooting black men, and white men killing black women? I'm like, shall I bring up all of those? I told you there's just too many. There's just too many. Georgia teens who were reported missing on June 30th, 2026 have both been found deceased on the side of the highway. Y'all tell me something not happening. Y'all don't think that there's a contract out on black folks? Y'all think this coincidence? We're not going to flee though. Did not want the N-word living next to her. White mother-son duo who menaced black neighbor with his effigy hung in the tree, hit with civil hate crime penalty. A white mother and son in rural Illinois who waged a months-long campaign of racial harassment and intimidation against their black next-door neighbor in 2020 must now pay him $90,000 in damages after a historic ruling found they violated the state's hate crime law. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office has now tried and won the state's first civil hate crime lawsuit. Cheryl Hampton, 70, and her son, Chad Hampton, 49, who are white, were found by Carroll County Circuit Court Judge Jerry Kane to have engaged in intimidation and disorderly conduct toward their neighbor, Gregory Johnson, who is black, while also subjecting him to escalating racial harassment. That's them. According to Attorney General's civil lawsuit filed against them in June 2022, the racist behavior by the Hamptons against Johnson culminated in their constructing an effigy of a black-faced man who resembled him and wrapped in chains and hanging by a noose from a tree in their front yard in direct view of his home. In a window, they draped a Confederate flag with the N-word on it, painted in black paint on the pane. Now, this is one of few. Now, as I've stated, there's also articles about, this happening in elementary schools where, they tried to hang a little black kid from a rope in the school. Right? I'm like, there's so many of these things, right? And y'all don't get to hear about it. The guy hung himself in a tree. 911 call released in Javon McGee case. Family flatly rejects sheriff's attempt to downplay hate crime. Say new videos prove nothing. Questions are still brewing over the death of Javion McGee after his body was found tied to a tree in rural North Carolina. In the week since his death, authorities have released more details as his family fiercely advocates for a thorough investigation. Authorities launched an investigation after locating McGee's body in Henderson, North Carolina on Wednesday, September 11th. McGee, a truck driver from Illinois, was in town to make a delivery to a local Walmart distribution center. That's him. The 21-year-old's body was found the next day in a fenced-in wood area on Vanco Mill Road. Investigators say he was in a seated position with his back against a tree and a rope that was wrapped a total of 11 times around his neck. The other end of the rope was attached to a tree branch. McGee's death became widely known through a viral TikTok posted by his cousin, who pleaded for people to join the family's fight for transparency in the death investigation and pushed back against suspicions that he died by suicide. Now, suicide, right? So he took a rope. He's on a job now. He's on a job. Truck driver. He grabbed a rope. I think I'm going to just delete myself today. Wrap it around his neck 11 times. And then just decided to do that for what? I'm like, really? I mean, does that even make sense? First of all, black folks don't do that. We don't hang ourselves. Secondly, if you were, would you do it while you're on the job? Would you be like, I'm going drive my truck to deliver and pick up stuff, and now I'm going to delete myself? It don't work that way. But hey, nothing to see here because it's all our fault, right? We do it to ourselves, right? Even if your hands tied behind your back. Hey, it's suicide. 13-year-old black boy threatened to be hung from a tree at school. See what his mother had to do to get the authorities to react. Well, they don't. That was not coming up. But anyway, that's one. Strange fruit on display in Houston. Activists remote bizarre racist Halloween decoration depicting black bodies hanging from trees in black neighborhood. Give me a one if y'all remember the stories in Houston. What, last year? Even parts of this year, I think, but definitely last year, of all the black women who was being found in the bayou or whatever, or what they call it, let's say the little waterway or whatever it was. Y'all remember? Give me one if y'all remember the stories of all the black women that was being found dead in the water in Houston, and they never wanted to admit that there was a quote unquote serial killer. I wonder who that was. The dragon is hunting the woman. Everything we've told y'all is happening. And everything isn't being reported. This is why the Bible says that the wicked will not understand, but the wise will understand. See, you all are wise. You will understand. But if you haven't heard about that in Houston, just do a little Google search. There was a whole bunch of black women just being found in the water, dead. I'm just saying. And there's other things that was happening too. But anyway, like I said, there's too much. State investigators awaiting autopsy results for black man discovered hanging from tree in North Georgia forest. But hey, I guess that's suicide too, right? The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is still awaiting the autopsy results for the body of a man who was found hanging from a tree last week. Curses anyone that hangs from a tree. I told y'all about the parallel sufferings. If y'all haven't seen that video, go watch it. The parallel sufferings. A hiker found the body of a 29-year-old Trevante Jamal Schubert Helton on a trail not far from High Shoals Falls in the Shallow Creek Wildlife Management Area on February 21st. After the hiker reported the discovery to the town's county sheriff's office that afternoon, local authorities, as well as the Georgia Natural Department of Resources, called in the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to assist in the investigation. In a press release, a GBI investigator stated that Helton's death appears to be an isolated incident based on a preliminary investigation. State authorities also said Helton was by himself at the wildlife management area. GBI spokesperson Williams told Atlanta Black Star that state authorities were requested to investigate Helton's death since his body was found on state property. Now, I wonder what they're going to say. Suicide, right? Like all the other ones. Suicide. Breaking: Georgia police launch investigation after black man is found hanging from a tree. That one didn't come up either. But anyway, we got a bunch of those, right? Revelation 6:9, verses 9-11. When he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that had been slain because of the word of Yahuwah and the testimony they had maintained. They called out in a loud voice, "How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and what? Avenge our blood." Who that? The Israelites. Who that? The woman that was being chased into the wilderness. Then each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer until the full number of their fellow servants. Can we say brethren, brothers, sisters, family? Their brothers and sisters were killed just as they had been. See, I keep telling y'all, this glorified idea of us getting out of here on cruise ships, right? And all that stuff. I mean, that sounds good, but it ain't going to be like that. It's not going to be that easy. It's going to be just like it was during the first Exodus, right? You're back up against the wall, no hope. Pharaoh trying to take you out. Pharaoh deleting you, beating you up, right? Same old, same old. Everybody got this fantasy idea how we leaving. We not leaving here without being injured. Look, I told y'all, if we make it past. So look, one thing I do know. The family is getting out. The nation of Israel, Esra'Elawi, let's say that, so people don't get confused. The true Esra'Elawi, as a nation, getting out, but everybody ain't getting out. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The nation is getting out, but every single individual is not getting out. How long? Well, until your fellow brothers and sisters who ought to be killed are killed. Just as they had been. Well, how were they killed? Hung from trees, pew-pewed, running from the store, walking down the street, minding your own business, pew-pew, going in the wrong neighborhood, pew-pew. 2 Corinthians 6:17-18. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, said Yahuwah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, said Yahuwah. Yahuwah has told us to come out from among them. Am I saying all of them bad? No, I'm not saying all of them bad. I just don't know which ones aren't bad. Some of these people are being deleted by their so-called white friends. And it's happening way more than that's being reported. We racist when we tell you to avoid being alone with them. We've all made the mistake. I've made the mistake. It just so happened Yahuwah looked after my family. Christianity is a drug. Christianity makes you lower your guard. Christianity is a threat. Why? Because you can't defend yourself because your mind is locked down. They misinterpret the scripture just as they gave you the slave Bible. They give you slave interpretations of what we call the 66 books. By defining the church as Jew and Gentile and not defining the assembly as born again Israelites, along with those who are grafted in, the distinction between the covenant people and the non-covenant people allows them to think that they could do what they want, believe what they want, and persecute who they want and still end up in heaven. They're going to say, Lord, did we not in your name cast out devils and in your name do many wonderful works? And he going to say, depart from me. I never knew you. What? You workers of iniquity. He gonna say, depart from me, because when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was in prison, you didn't visit me. Well, Lord, when did we see you hungry? When did we see you in prison? When you did this to the least of these, my brethren, who? The Israelites. When you done this to the least of these, my brethren, who? The ones in captivity. When you did this to the least of these, my brethren, who? The ones that are counted as sheep for the slaughter. When you done this to the least of these, my brethren, you done it unto me. See, the problem is, a lot of y'all, white, black, Christian, y'all think Jesus is white. And because y'all think Jesus is white, y'all think everything the white man has taught you is right. But it is a Hebrew book. It is an Israelite book given to black Hebrew Israelites to interpret. That's why Israelites are called to what? Be a light to the nations. See, I'm not like the camps. I believe Gentiles can be saved. What I don't believe is that a lot of Gentiles are going to be saved. That's the difference. I believe Gentiles can be saved. I just don't believe a lot of Gentiles are going to be saved. Why? Because y'all hatred. Your heart is wrong. Y'all do these type of things and have always done these type of things to us. Y'all came out of church on Sunday and had a hanging party. Y'all had strange fruit hanging from the trees. But we caused it ourselves for being black. But y'all brought us here. We didn't want to be here, but y'all going to be sending us back. We going back home. I know y'all don't want to hear this. Y'all want to hear we going to be here in America. We going to stay here because this is where our forefathers died. Our family fought for the right to vote. We going to stay here. We going to build, and we going to have our own communities as they build up the slave system and the prison system around you, called digital ID, called flock cameras, called control of the distribution system, called control of the monetary system, called control of access to food, air, and water and things to survive. But you think you're going to be able to stay here in America and build your own community after you didn't learn or haven't learned over the centuries, like Black Wall Street, and they're going to burn your city down. They're going to bomb your cities and they're going to delete you. Let's get it right. Let's use common sense. They have not changed. Give me a 1 if they have not changed. Give me a 2 if you think they changed. They have not changed. See, a lot of people going to call this show a racist thing. No, it ain't racist. It's the truth. Sometimes the truth offends. Sometimes the truth offends. Y'all wicked. I'm not talking about every single one of y'all. I'm saying y'all wicked as a nation. I'm sorry. Look at your history. You deleted the Indians. Y'all almost wiped out all the Indians. Y'all gave them the smallpox blankets. Y'all brought us over here as slaves, and let's not even go through all the stuff y'all did to us, like making purses and clothes and shoes out of us. Y'all wicked as a nation. But we supposed to act like ain't nothing happening. We supposed to act like y'all not hanging us from trees. We supposed to act like we hanging ourselves. The Bible says you're going to be hated for telling the truth. I know I'm going to be hated for telling the truth. I'm going to be hated by white folks for telling the truth. And I'm going to be hated by black folks for telling the truth. Because why? Our own shepherds pity us not. Understand, you have to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. Stop telling your family it's okay to hang out with their kids. It is not, obviously. Give me a 1 if you think it's not good for your kids to be hanging out with them. Give me a 2 if you think it's okay. When are we going to learn? You need to talk to your children. You need to talk to your grandchildren. You need to talk to everybody who black and tell them stop hanging with them folks. They deleting us. I told y'all there are more and more news articles I could cover that they have been doing to us, and it's not getting mainstream news. But y'all think we not gonna flee, or y'all think Tell Ministries is extreme. No, I'm just honest. This is a truth ministry. If we don't tell you the truth, you ain't getting it. Most of y'all not getting the truth. These Hebrew Israelite channels ain't giving you the whole truth. Camps give you a little bit of the truth. They give you a partial truth. You got these other folks coming here and give you a partial truth. Just like them camps when they told people eat a lollipop. I can't imagine. How the camps, and I think it was ISUPK, how can the camps have told their listeners, well, we know they do bad to us, but eat the lollipop anyway. We know they do bad to us, but eat the lollipop anyway. You can't trust your own. You can't trust nobody but Yahuwah. When we gonna wake up? When we gonna put ourselves before them? When black folks gonna take care of black folks? When rich black folks gonna do business with poor black folks? When we gonna take our money and start helping each other? Because guess what? They taking away the jobs. They taking away the corporate jobs. They taking away the government jobs. They taking away the hospital jobs. They taking away all of this stuff. How do we expect to survive? Because we don't love each other. We the only people, I'm telling you, I look at us and us as a people. I'm not saying all of us, but I look at us as a people and I say, man, what a pitiful group of people we are. We be defending them before we defend ourselves. We protect them before we protect ourselves. You make it make sense. You make it make sense. What's wrong with us? We quick to attack each other, but we don't say nothing about them. I'll get more hate for this show from black folks than from these white folks who saying that they should stop hanging with us. Just as I showed you the white guy, he said, we're going to have the talk to tell our children not to hang with them. Yeah, have that talk with your children. Tell your children leave us alone. Tell your children stop mixing with ours. Let's have that talk. You have your talks with your kids. Tell them stop hanging with black kids. Tell them stop hanging with black folks. We gonna have to talk with ours. Tell our kids stop hanging with your kids. Cause y'all, a lot of your kids are y'all murderers. Obviously. When we call an evil out that y'all do to us, we the problem. When we call an evil out that y'all do to us, now y'all have fatigue. If you keep hitting me in the back of the head and I tell you, stop hitting me in the back of the head, I'm in trouble because you keep hitting me in the back of the head. I'm causing trouble because I tell you, stop hitting me in the back of the head. I'm racist because I tell you, stop hitting me in the back of the head. When we gonna love each other? When are we gonna look out for each other? When we gonna start doing good to each other? When we gonna stop manipulating and lying and using each other? When we gonna help uplift each other? And when we gonna stop taking advantage of those who want to help us? I told y'all we messed up. We as a people, we are messed up. We take advantage of each other and they take advantage of us as well. You make it make sense. If the Most High don't come and get us, we're done. We're done. We're done. If we're not leaving soon, we're done. I told y'all the end times ain't like they try to paint it out to be. Like it was in the Hollywood movie of Moses with the white characters. Marching out in an orderly situation. Happy when we're marching out like they showed it on that 10 Commandments. It ain't like that. That wasn't how it was. You know how it really was back during the first Exodus? Everybody was scared. Everybody ain't know what was going to happen, where they were going. The enemy, some of them were still trying to delete them, even though they were scared. People still plotting against them while they planning to get their stuff and move out. People looking at them with evil eye and intent. Knowing that they had to get out of there before Pharaoh changed his mind and come chasing them, which he did. Running up against the wall of water. Oh, we would have been better in Egypt. Moses brought us out here to die. Same old thing, family. Same old thing. Don't get it twisted. You need to look at the first Exodus as you will look at what's happening today. People being deleted. People starving. People discriminated against. People not being able to survive. That's why Moses had to delete an Egyptian, right? Ain't nothing changed. They keep doing the same thing. Y'all be saying, well, you know, they're black kids and white kids go to school together and they're friends now and they play football together and they play basketball together and what? They also end up deleting you. The white girls like the brothers and the brothers like the white girls, and so they getting married and they're hooking up. Then they get deleted. Am I making it up, or is the news not saying that? Am I making it up, or is it happening? Shall we stick our heads in the sand and act like nothing is occurring? Shall we stick our heads in the sand and just for the sake of getting along, act like it don't exist? Shall we ignore the fact that our own people despise us? Shall we ignore the fact that something has to be wrong with us because look at all of the people marrying the enemy? Look at all the entertainers and the politicians not marrying Chinese, not marrying Mexicans, not marrying Africans, marrying the enemy. You make it make sense. Are they not the ones discriminating against you? Are they not the ones putting you in jail? Are they not the ones passing these laws to get rid of your job? Are they not the ones passing all of these zoning restrictions? Are they not the ones removing affirmative action? Are they not the ones removing voting rights? But y'all want to get married. Does that make sense? Am I missing something? I'm telling y'all, and I'm going to shut it down. What's happening is increasing in intensity. It's called birth pains. And our people are being deleted, and their own shepherds pity them not. We know what's happening. You know what's happening. We ain't hanging ourselves from trees. We not leaving our own selves on islands and ending up drowned. You make that whole story make sense. They left him on an island, took his phone, and then he ended up dead, drowned. What? Really? You make it make sense, because it don't make sense to me. And we don't even have each other. Because our folks want to be with them folks and ignore all of this stuff that's happening. I can't ignore it. I can't ignore what their ancestors did in the past to my ancestors. I can't ignore the fact that they did alligator bait. I can't ignore the fact that they did buck breaking. I can't ignore the fact of all the evil they've done to us and still doing. And I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to ignore it because you're still doing it. And everybody won't act like nothing happening. White folks won't act like nothing happening. Black folks won't act like nothing happening. Everybody won't put their head in the sand and act like it's all our fault. But y'all think the fact that the sun is burning the heck out of them, just climate change. Y'all so stupid. Y'all think that the sun is burning their butt in Europe and around America and all, y'all think it's climate change. No, it's judgment. It's judgment. It's judgment. The Most High is coming for his people. Y'all think the earthquakes are climate change. It's judgment. Y'all think the wars that's happening is happenstance. No, it's judgment. Y'all think the reduction in food and water, the drought in America, I hope y'all know there's a drought over America. The Bible even said in Jeremiah 50 that there would be a drought over Babylon. Y'all think it's all climate change. It's judgment. I listen to these people and I be laughing when they say it's climate change. I'm like, you really believe that? You actually believe climate change? No, what they did was prepare your mind for these judgments. They knew judgments was coming. And judgment is here, just like we told you. Y'all thought we were lying about 2019 with the awakening and everything and that. What? Judgment. In my opinion, just my opinion, like I said, Esra'Elawi, we got to be out of here soon. Just my opinion, I could be wrong, right? I'm going to say it that way. Just my opinion, I could be wrong. I think next year, if not next year, 28, 29, somewhere up in there, hopefully we're gone. You know why I say this? Just my opinion, I could be wrong. I'm going to keep saying it. Because we can't keep going like we're going. And the pattern of what's happening, right? The removal of our rights in this country, the removal of our means of taking care of ourselves and feeding our families and voting and having any kind of constitutional protection, the removal of clean food, clean air and water, the addition of data centers and technology to control us and flock cameras, we can't survive. We can't survive here. I don't see how we can survive here. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm not telling you to leave, right? You gonna leave, but I'm not telling you to leave. See, there's a difference. When I say you gonna flee, but I'm not telling you to flee, but you gonna flee because the scripture says you gonna flee. At least these plagues come on you. Why these plagues coming? Why these plagues happening? Why them folks burning like crazy? I've heard different numbers. I've heard 5,000 people are deleted because of the sun. I've heard 20,000 people were deleted because of the sun. But hey, nothing to see here. That's climate change. Or is it judgment from Yahuwah as we see in Revelation 16? I'm just asking. I believe the scriptures. We're about to see things change, as I mentioned before. Along with the judgment, what's happening? Africa shaking off the chains of the colonizers. Along with the judgments on these other nations, what's happening? African Americans have woken up to being the true Esra'Elawi. Along with the judgments, what's happening? Africa as a continent are asking for reparations for everybody. All the descendants of slaves. All the ones persecuted by the colonizers and the enslavers. Hey, just coincidence. Hey, nothing to see here. We're racist, remember? Just coincidence. African countries starting to come together and they're starting to push back. Hey, guess what? You can't take our resources without building the refineries here. You can't take our resources without building the processing plants in Africa. Hey, nothing to see here. The Most High say he's prepared a place for us to flee to. He prepared a place for us to flee to. That's why I say, my opinion, we leaving soon. Maybe this year. No, not this year. Maybe 2027, 2028, 29. Maybe. Definitely before 2030. Because I don't see how, just my opinion, I don't see how we make it to 2030. We're not going to survive here. We can't survive here. I hope you can see that. A lot of y'all don't see that, though. Well, fam, I will say this. Pray for the family. Pray for the Esra'Elawi, both here in the United States and around the world. Definitely here. Because we going through some stuff and we don't even see it. We're going through some judgment and some pain and some deletions and we don't even see. There's a whole bunch of us, not just from these folks. But guess what? If I were to add to what I've discussed today and all of these things that we see on the physical pew level, and I don't want to make y'all upset, and I don't want to, make you feel bad because you might have made a bad decision. I just want to point out the fact that there's a lot of people, and I mentioned it before, from the lollipop are being deleted. And it's not just us in that scenario. But if you add that to all the other stuff, we are under an attack that is, for most people, invisible. We are being deleted in a way that most people can't fathom. They cannot reason. They cannot quantify. It's happening. It's happening, but understand. It's happening, but understand that what we're dealing with is not easily visible. It's not easily visible. And most people can't see it. So I know this message was rough for a lot of people, but hey, it's a truth ministry. It's not going to feel good, especially being a prophetic ministry. But I got to do my job because I'm going to tell y'all right now, I would say the times on YouTube and stuff is coming to a close based upon what I'm seeing. So it is what it is. If y'all want to support us, we appreciate it. And we thank all of you who do support us. We really love y'all and thank you for the blessings for those who do support this ministry. And those who want to, you can support us. Cash App, $TOTW7101. You can go to tailministries.com website, click on the donations tab. There's other ways of giving. You can become a Patreon owner. Right? A patron. That's another way. You could become a patron. So, there's many ways, but family, I would say, please pray for me and Minister Teo. This, what we do is very controversial and, it'll cause, it can cause issues, but, there's not, the warning has to go out. Right? The warning has to go. I'm going to leave it like that. Love y'all with the love of Messiah. Peace and blessings. Oh, yeah. One last thing. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. So, love y'all with the love of Messiah. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Well, family, the wait is over. The moment has arrived where truth emerges triumphant from the shadows of history. Introducing the true Jerusalem, the lost kingdoms of the Israelites. The groundbreaking work by me, Yaakov Vale, A journey into the past that reshapes the future. I cut through centuries of misconceptions with piercing clarity. This book delivers a compelling case packed with evidence that commands attention and gonna get some respect. Come with me for a second, family, and discover how these thrilling civilizations flourished, protected by towering highlands and sustained by advanced engineering. Some have asked, where is Jerusalem? Is it the land in the Middle East? I say no. It is in the highlands of Ethiopia. With hours of groundbreaking research, this book brings in a new revelation, and it will transform your understanding of African history and its connections to the ancient world. It's going to remove from your mind the conditioning by the Romans of what has really happened to our past. Come with me, family, to the Ethiopian highlands and find out why this is our land. Why things have been hidden and obfuscated for centuries. We are royalty, children of the Most High. What kind of land do you expect us to have? Dried up dirt in the Middle East, or land flowing with rivers? A land full of beautiful animals flowing with milk and honey. Don't miss out on this monumental unveiling. Grab your copy today and stand on the side of truth. Visit Amazon.com or www.tailministries.com to purchase your book and join Jacoby Vale's teachings on Tail Ministries. Family, your journey to a hidden history has now begun. So family, get your copy of True Jerusalem, The Lost Kingdoms of the Israelites today. Journey to the heart of Africa, where history and legend converge to reveal the forgotten kingdoms of the Israelites and the true location of Jerusalem.